What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Thursday, everybody. Okay, so again, we're talking about the man that is playing dumb when it comes to UFOs and the whole topic, Elon Musk, because he made yet another snarky comment about him being an alien. And by this point, he's done it multiple times. He said it jokingly, I know, but he just keeps repeating it, right? And I don't know. It's just weird because this time he did it at the World Economic Forum, which, it's infamous by this point. And he did it right next to BlackRock's CEO. And if you know what BlackRock is, you know. So this is what Elon said. And after I show you what he said, I am also going to talk about Candace Owens. I had a video about her a while ago that I decided to not put out because I think I was a little bit too harsh in my assessment. And I knew that if I put out that video, there was going to be a lot of people that support her that were not going to like it. And I don't really care what they think, honestly, but I need to be a little bit more fair to Candace. She is, after all, currently one of the most viewed content creators in the world. I think she broke a record on a live stream a few weeks ago where she had I don't know, like 50,000 watching in real time, which is insane. So I wanted to show you first Elon, and then we're going to talk about what Candace has been talking about recently about Elon and about other topics pertaining to the UFO topic that we need to analyze a little bit further. So, first, let's watch Elon saying he's an alien for the 100th time, I would say. Here it is.
Asked, are there aliens among us? And I'll say that I am one, but
Or you're from the future.
they don't believe me.
Okay.
But I think if anyone would know if there are aliens among us, it would be me.
Notice how he didn't laugh this time.
And we have 9,000 satellites up there, and not once have we had to maneuver around an alien spaceship. So I'm like, I don't know. Bottom line is, I think we need to assume that life and consciousness is extremely rare, and it might only be us. And if that's the case, then we need to do everything possible to ensure that the light of consciousness is not extinguished.
So by this point, I think that is one of the many prepared statements that he has when he's asked about this. But I'm just telling you, I've been asking around with people and who have heard a lot about what he's been doing even before he became more famous and more known. And what I hear from them is that he definitely was briefed about the whole topic before he became more famous. So he's known about this. Keep in mind, Elon has the Boring Company, and that Boring Company has tunnels all below California. And if you know, the government has tunnels all across the country. And to get those tunnels that he has, he must have gotten permission directly from the federal government. So what gives, right? But this takes us to Candace, because before I continue talking about Candace, I do want to clarify something. What I think about life and the ideologies that I have do not align with Candace Owens's ideas. I've always rejected most of the rhetoric that she puts out because I think that a lot of what she does is quite divisive, and I think that it really empowers the current divisiveness in the world, a lot of what she reports on. And she is, in my opinion, turning into the new sort of Alex Jones of media because of the wild shit that she often spews. And I'm not uncovering the wheel right now. Like, everybody knows the kind of stuff that she talks about. I'm not going to go into details on everything, but I am going to talk about a couple of things. The first one is when she said this about Elon Mark Zuckerberg, and Peter Thiel. So here it is. And this coincides with what Elon just said at the World Economic Forum. Keep that in mind. Here it is.
Telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like, they
Sorry, I meant Sam Altman, but Mark Zuckerberg has been accused of this as well. So just keeping it real for you guys.
just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, you know, like my phone's getting an update or something. It's something in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I know I'm human, but I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, you know. I'm not going to stab them, but I don't know if they bleed all the way. I think a battery would fall out. You know what I mean? And I just get that sense. I've always known it was demonic. And people just get on board because, as we talked about in this book, they are using science and this idea of technology and this idea of transforming society for the better to indoctrinate us into accepting this. And it's wrong and it's backwards. And the main component of all of this is psychology, right? They're able to do it because of psychology, making you think that society has gotten better. Our kids have objectively gotten dumber. We've become fatter. We've become less healthy. We've become less emotionally sound. And yet they are convincing us that this is like humanity's great leap forward. We put a man on the moon, and he just like called them up and was like, hey, Prez, what's up? I'm up here. Yeah, it's so cool. It's really great. It's nice. Starry night up here. Okay, I'm gonna text you. I gotta go by in 69. And they get these people, they tell you like he's a genius. They're all writing like he's a genius. So we should just accept that Elon Musk is a genius, because like all the writers who are obviously indoctrinated into the occult are telling us that this is the next person that we should worship. The establishment of Hollywood, it was all occults. They were all Aleister Crowley proteges who were just raping kids and summoning demons, and demons are real. So at the same time that they're summoning demons, they are making us all believe that faith is not real. And that has been, I think, the greatest trick that the devil ever played, right? Is making people think that he didn't exist, and making people atheist, making people believe that there's nothing, like you're here for a moment in time, because then it allows them to further tether us to their reality and to their God, which is money, right? Well, if you truly knew and believed, like I do, I actually know that this is not it. Like, I know this is not it. But if you truly believed that, you wouldn't sell your soul. People think that that's just like an expression. Oh, he sold his soul. No, you are literally selling your soul. Like, when you tell lies and you go down a path of lying because you're so afraid of not having the security of a paycheck, or you're willing to do something terrible to maintain that job, or keeping your mouth shut to maintain that job. We're seeing it right now with the Charlie Kirk case, right? You're selling your soul. Like, there's a life after this. They have made you pledge your allegiance to their dollar because they know life is going on. They know that. They want you to literally sell them your soul. That's my personal belief. It's why I am religious. It's why I speak about, my faith openly, because I just know if this is not it. And I just know these people are demons. Like, I don't know. They just like, look at the way they breathe. Like, you know what I mean? Same thing. I look at Sam Altman. I'm like, look, I don't know. But I know that's not a droid, obviously.
So clearly, just to be abundantly clear, she said that this is her belief, and I know that I get a lot of shit for this from the religious crowd. I am not an atheist. I am an agnostic. I just don't think that the whole construct of religion, based on scripture that was misinterpreted for the most part and written by a bunch of old men after a lot of things went down thousands of years prior, I think that is just a misinterpretation of what could have actually happened. The truth of the matter is that we don't know what actually happened thousands and thousands of years ago, even before Jesus was around, right? So that's the reason I always snark at anybody who says it with such conviction. You don't know. That's the reality of it. You've read a book that has been misinterpreted for a long time. And that is real, that you misinterpreted things. And she is saying a lot of truth in there. Yeah, because there is right and wrong. You can feel it in your consciousness, what's right and what's wrong. It's common sense, really. But I do caution people to please, whenever you hear somebody like this saying things that make them sound so secure of what they think they know, just tread carefully and do your own research. And that's why I have a problem with a lot of these absolutist statements that people like Candace and people like Alex Jones make often.
But beyond that, it's a vampire conspiracy in that they are interdimensionally sucking the essence of our youth.
Right.
And they believe they're possessed by an off-world entity.
They do?
Yeah, and Joe, I've been on air 22 years. I don't get into aliens, metaphysical, religion, any of that. I've studied the elite, and I've also communicated with a lot of the top people. And if you want to know, I will actually break down right now the best knowledge right now on what's happening on the planet.
What's happening?
Let me give you a basic gestalt.
Okay. I love when you can use that word with full confidence. I've never said that. Let me give you a basic gestalt. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm such a fraud.
No, you're not.
No, but that's what I'd think if I use that word.
No, you'll get all this because you'll already have most of the static because you're a bookworm, a research worm, in a good way. The elite are all about transcendence and living forever and the secrets of the universe, and they want to know all this. Some are good, some are bad, some are a mix. But the good ones don't ever want to organize. The bad ones tend to want to organize because they lust after power. Powerful consciousnesses don't want to dominate other people. They want to empower them, so they don't tend to get together until things are really late in the game. Then they come together. Evil's always defeated because good is so much stronger. And we're on this planet, and Einstein's physics showed it, Max Planck's physics showed it, there's at least 12 dimensions. And now that's why all the top scientists and billionaires are coming out saying it's a false hologram. It is artificial. The computers are scanning it and finding tension points where it's artificially projected and gravity's bleeding in to this universe. That's what they call dark matter. So we're like a thought or a dream that's a wisp in some computer program, some God's mind, whatever. They're proving it all. It's all coming out. Now, there's like this sub-transmission zone below the third dimension that's just turned over to the most horrible things is what it resonates to. And it's trying to get up into the third dimension that's just a basic level consciousness to launch into the next levels. And our species is already way up in the fifth, sixth dimension, consciously, our best people. But there's this big war trying to like basically destroy humanity because humanity has free will and there's a decision to which level we want to go to. We have free will, so evil's allowed to come and contend, not just good. And the elites themselves believe they're racing using human technology to try to take our best minds and build some type of breakaway civilization where they're going to merge with machines, transcend, and break away from the failed species that is man, which is kind of like a false transmission because they're thinking what they are is ugly and bad, projecting it onto themselves instead of believing, no, it's a human test about building us up. And so Google was set up 18, 19 years ago, I knew about this before it was declassified, I'm just saying I have good sources, that they wanted to build a giant artificial system. And Google believes that the first artificial intelligence will be a supercomputer based on the neuron activities of the hive mind of humanity with billions of people wired into it with the Internet of Things. And so all of our thoughts go into it, and we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time that's also psychically connected to us, that are organic creatures, so that they will have current prediction powers, future prediction powers, a true crystal ball. But the big secret is, once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand and make decisions that control the future. And so then it's the end of consciousness and free will for individuals, as we know, and a true 2.0 in a very bad way, hive mind consciousness with an AI jacked into everyone, knowing our hopes and dreams, delivering it to us, not in some PKD wirehead system where we plug in and give up on consciousness because of unlimited pleasure, but because we were already wired in and absorbed before we knew it by giving over our consciousness to the system by our daily decisions that it was able to manipulate and control into a larger system. There's now a human counterstrike taking place to shut this off before it gets fully into place and to block these systems and to try to have an actual debate about where humanity goes and cut off the and psychic vampires that are control of this AI system before humanity's destroyed.
And that's not to say that it isn't possible that some of these people, I don't know, maybe something else, not just human. I don't know. It sounds really outlandish. Yeah, I know. And from who it's coming from, even more so, I know. But I think it's important to just keep in mind how many times Elon has said this shit and what the focus of people like Peter Thiel and Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg has been, because they show you a face publicly, but behind the scenes, they do a lot of really questionable things. And that is true. That is real. So we have to learn how to look at these events from a more objective and central perspective. We can't go straight to the extreme as Candace is clearly doing here. Somewhere in between, there's some truth, but not all of it. So, and I know it's difficult to find what's true, what's not. I also want to highlight another thing that Candace recently spoke about that I think it's important as well. And this is what makes me think that she's like sort of becoming the new Alex Jones of media, because she's clearly being exposed to information from people in high places in either government or the intelligence community. And it kind of feels like she's being fed information that has a little bit of truth in it, but it also has a little bit of false information in it. So she talked about recently, a few weeks ago, Project Looking Glass. And just check out what she said right here.
Obviously, the CIA's Project Looking Glass. Essentially, there were these whistleblowers, like I told you, in the military and within the CIA apparatus that came forward to reveal that the deep state had a technology, which they stole, of course. Please do not miss the part that I keep explaining to you. These people are not smarter than you. They're just more evil. They steal, they plunder, and they steal things, and then they rewrite history and pretend that they were geniuses. Anyways, they have a knack for murder, they have a knack for theft, and this time, just like a lot of times before, they stole a device from the ancient Sumerian civilization that's located in modern day Iraq. Very advanced civilization. They're obsessed also with Egyptian civilization, as we discussed yesterday. The Satanists kind of taking and reintroducing these things. First, they keep them to themselves. They hoard these things, and then they kind of give us certain aspects of technology as time goes on. So they steal this piece of technology and they incorporate it into a computer. And suddenly they're apparently able to predict future outcomes. Just imagine the deep state being able to look into a glass, so to speak. The Sumerian culture was known for their advancement in glass, and to see different outcomes. I mean, the amount of power that you would have, and then also fathom in your mind that the people that are Satanists have this power. Take a listen.
This is where things take a turn. Because according to Bill Wood, a former Navy SEAL with high-level clearance, the US military once had access.
So Bill has been accused of several things that are really horrible, just to keep it 100% clear on this. And she used a clip from him, from the information that he has. But this Project Looking Glass stuff has a lot of different avenues. He's not the only source from this. Those documents actually do exist in the CIA reading room. I'm going to try and find them and leave it in the description so you guys can check them out. But yeah, we have to mention this about this man.
To a device called Project Looking Glass, a technology that could supposedly view potential future timelines.
The project was shut down because there was a problem when we approached 2012. The timelines converge on that point in time. When you know how string theory works and how the possibility of possibilities works and how making one choice over here doesn't necessarily mean that the other choice couldn't exist at the same time. But once you get your brain wrapped around this subject, you find out that at the end of 2012, in an easy way to put it, the choices that we make become less and less consequential to the future. And eventually we're pushed into this bottleneck of time, no matter which choice we make.
Okay, so is that certainly 2012 in your understanding?
It's well coincides with December 21st, 2012.
So at that point, all possibilities lead to the same
Timelines.
Rubicon.
All possible timelines lead to the same basic set of history in the future.
And after that, they shut it all down.
As I told you, she is slapping a little bit of her own biases into this when she talks about Satanists and all this stuff. And she used somebody who's, in my opinion, not a credible source. But we can source this to somebody who is credible and who has talked about something similar to this, which is Matthew Brown. And I'm going to leave a link to that tweet in the description where he calls out Elon Musk and he talks about some sort of AI technology that may have the capability to see future events that the White House allegedly has already. Yeah, Matthew Brown talked about that. That tweet went extremely viral. And I think it's important to keep reminding ourselves of that tweet. But yeah, as I told you, I don't know what's going on with Candace, but I do think that she is plugged currently to somebody who's feeding her information that is a little true and a little false. And clearly, when she's talking about Elon in this capacity, it just makes you think, man, was she told something real about Elon and all these guys? Or do you think she wasn't? And every conjecture that she's making about Looking Glass and about ancient civilizations and all that, that also has a little bit of truth in there. What it is, it's up for debate. And it will always be for debate unless we see actual physical evidence that all of these things happened, which is extremely difficult. For example, we can go back to FOIA request documents where somebody from Hillary Clinton's office about a decade ago, or maybe a little more, asked for Gilgamesh's, the Sumerian king, burying site. That is real. That document was requested. Whether Gilgamesh's tomb is real or not, I don't know. So there's a lot of stuff like that in FOIA documents and in lore about ancient technology, ancient artifacts that may or may not be real. There's people who have claimed for many, many years that when the Iraq war happened, a lot of the looting that happened was carried out by the military from the US in Iraq, and that they allegedly retrieved a lot of these ancient artifacts and ancient technology. So there's a lot to look into there. And I don't know what you guys think about Candace in general, but let me know what you think. What do you think about what she said weeks ago about Elon, Thiel, Sam Altman being hybrids? And what do you think about Elon repeatedly saying, I'm an alien, I'm an alien? It's a gag, I would presume, but he keeps saying it, man, and it's weird. And what do you think about Candace's statements about Project Looking Glass? Have you ever looked into that program? Have you ever looked at those documents? Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. I'll be reading. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, hype, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's all you need to do in order to help us, and it is what helps us the most, so thank you. But if you want to support us in other ways, there's a few links down there you can choose from. You can also become a member on YouTube. You can also become a member on Patreon. We have merch on Patreon, so that's a way to get merch and to get incentivized to become a Patreon member. Or you can also give us a review on Spotify. That would be really helpful because my IP address is in Mexico and the algorithm doesn't catch the show as easily as if my IP address was in an English-speaking country. So we need your help with reviews, with more participation on Spotify. Or you can also support us through KGRA. Anything you choose to do is always appreciated. So thank you. And that's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive like Candace Owens. Always. Bye.